Hello, dear students. Let us continue with our Gulel series, the synopsis lectures, with the second topic of our chapter Structural Organization in Animals, that is the study of the animal cockroach. Right? So, यहाँ पे हम लोग क्विकली गो थ्रू करेंगे कॉकरोच का एक्सटर्नल स्ट्रक्चर, उसके इंटरनल एनाटॉमी और उसके अलग अलग सिस्टम्स, जो हमने ऑलरेडी अपने लेक्चर्स में पढ़े हुए हैं। इससे आपका क्विक रिवीजन होगा, रिकैप होगा और आप एमसीक्यूज की तरफ जा सकते हैं। तो सबसे पहले कॉकरोच का टैक्सोनॉमिक पोजीशन क्या है? कॉकरोच का टैक्सोनॉमिक पोजीशन क्या है? ओके, दैट इज हम उसको कैसे क्लासिफाई करते हैं? सो इट बिलोंग्स टू किंगडम एनिमेलिया, यस वी नो दैट, right? And it belongs to phylum Arthropoda. It belongs to class Insecta, which is genus that we are going to study is Periplaneta, and the species that we're going to study is going to be the Americana species. So we are going to study Periplaneta Americana. ओके, क्या इसके अलावा भी अलग अलग कॉकरोचेस होते हैं? हाँ, डेफिनेटली होते हैं। जैसे कि हमारी एनसीईआरटी हमको कहती है कि जो ट्रॉपिकल रीजन्स है वहां पे आपको अलग अलग कलर्स के कॉकरोचेस मिलेंगे। जैसे सम ऑफ देम विल बी ब्राइट येलो, रेड एंड ग्रीन कलर्ड कॉकरोचेस इन द ट्रॉपिकल रीजन्स। अलग अलग स्पीशीज होती है, पेरीप्लैनेटा जर्मैनिका, ब्लैटा ओरिएंटालिस। और यहाँ पे जो हम पढ़ने वाले हैं दैट इज गोइंग टू बी पेरीप्लैनेटा अमेरिकाना, किंगडम एनिमेलिया, आर्थ्रोपोडा, इंसेक्टा, पेरीप्लैनेटा अमेरिकाना. Okay, the size of this particular variety that is going to be around 1/4 inches to around 3 inches. The color is going to be brown or they're going to be black bodied cockroaches. Okay, now uh, when it comes to their habit, habit and their habitat मतलब रहने की जगह और habit मतलब उनका रहने का स्टाइल. Okay, this in this case they love to live in moist and damp places, जहाँ पे काफी उनको moisture मिल सके, उनका reproduction जो है वो easy हो जाए, उनके babies को, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं nymph, nymph उनकी babies को कहा जाता है, उनको moisture मिले survival के लिए, खाना पीना मिले, वहां पे आपको हमेशा cockroaches मिलेंगे, right? And with respect to their habit, they are nocturnal. Okay, they are active during the night time. मतलब वो अपना जो foraging है, खाना ढूंढना, mate ढूंढना, वो लोग रात को करते हैं. And they are omnivores. Cockroaches eat everything, right? Now, and they are found throughout the entire world. The species of cockroach, अगर आप precisely बात करें, तो we are talking about the species that is Periplaneta americana, whose size is about 34 to 53 mm, and uh, their body is divided into three parts: the head part, the thorax part, and the abdomen part. And what way to identify externally male cockroach from a female cockroach? That in the case of the male cockroach, their wings will slightly extend beyond the top. That is how you can distinguish between the male and the female. कि जो male होगा, जो wing थोड़ी सी extend होगी from its abdomen. आर्थ्रोपोडा की एक feature है, the classical feature of arthropods and class Insecta, that their body is covered by a hard chitinous exoskeleton. How is it? It's a hard chitinous exoskeleton, an exoskeleton which is made up of chitin, and that gives the brown color to its body. Now, the chitinous exoskeleton is not continuous, it is broken down into smaller plates, and these plates are called as sclerites. These plates are called sclerites. So, अगर आपने कभी देखा होगा कि when a cockroach is fallen down ventrally, it will have these lines on the body. Okay, these marks the segments and the sclerites. Okay, so now if you're talking about a cockroach, look at this particular view. Okay, this is the dorsal side, this is the ventral side, and these two are the lateral sides. So if I consider this body that I'm going to hold now, to be the cockroach, right? तो जो जो डॉर्सल साइड है कॉकरोच का, ओके, टू मेक इट क्लियर सी लुक एट माय हैंड, ओके, ये डॉर्सल साइड हुआ, ये वेंट्रल साइड हुआ, और ये दो साइड जो हो गई वो लैटरल साइड्स आ गई। अब जो स्क्लेराइज डॉर्सल साइड पे होती है, दे आर कॉल्ड टर्जा, टर्जाइट्स। Ventral side पे they are called sternites, and the lateral ones are called pleurites. And all these sclerites are joined together by a flexible membrane, which is called as the arthroidal membrane. So the arthroidal membrane joins these sclerites. It's a PYQ. पहले पूछा हुआ question है. So remember that it's the arthroidal membrane. As you know, the body is divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. In the case of adults, the head consists of one segment, the thorax consists of three, and the abdomen consists of 10 segments. Okay. The young one of cockroach, which is called as the nymphal stage, right? In the nymphal stage, the head consists of six planes, and during metamorphosis, the six fuse to form one. Thorax remain the three, and abdomen 11 segments, they get fused to form ultimately the 10 ones. So the number of segments in the nymphal stages are more as compared to the adult stages. Now, one by one, if you see the head, thorax, and abdomen, let's start with the shape of the head. It's a triangular shaped head, small in size. It shows the presence of a pair of antenna, one pair of compound eyes, and it shows the presence of a pair of structures which are called ocelli. Okay. Other than that, it also shows the presence of mouth parts. So the head shows the presence of a pair of antenna, a pair of compound eyes, a pair of ocelli, and shows the presence of different mouth parts. Then, so if we say that this is the head, this is the thorax, and this is the abdomen. Okay. Then what we find is that the head is somewhat triangular in shape. Okay. And from the thorax arises short part, which is called as the neck or the cervicum. And this head is attached to the thorax at this 90-degree angle, which makes it a hypognathous condition. And that is why the head is directed downwards. Okay. So that is something which we'll remember. So once again, the head is formed by the fusion of six segments. So the nymphal stage had six segments in the head region which got fused to form one head segment. The important thing over here you remember is some parts regarding the antennae. So as you have already seen that the antennae are a pair of structures. They are thread-like structures. Okay. So now we have this head part. Okay. From there arise, we have this pair of compound eyes, antennal sockets. From that arise thread-like structures. Okay. Pair of thread-like structures which arise from the antennal socket in front of the eyes. Now, these antennae have a lot of bristles on them, ऐसे hair-like और भी छोटे-छोटे bristles. Okay, and these bristles help the cockroach to sense the environment. Okay, they are basically olfactory and tactile receptors. Tactile touch receptors with the help of which the cockroach will sense its environment for food and for mate. So more than the eyes, I would say the cockroaches depend upon the antenna for its survival. Okay, so that is how it monitors its environment. Then the mouth, mouth parts of cockroach. Okay, so when we talk about the mouth parts, if we observe the class Insecta, they have got different type of mouth parts. Somebody has got biting and chewing type. Some insects have got lapping and sponging types and different types. In the case of Periplaneta americana, we need to remember for our need, and it has already been asked that these mouth parts are biting and chewing type of mouth parts. Okay, and we need to remember their names. So there is a single labrum which is called upper lip. Then there is a single labium which is called as the lower lip. There are pair of mandibles which are called as true jaws. The pair of maxillae which are called as the accessory jaws. And these mouth parts enclose a tongue which is also called the hypopharynx of cockroach. Right? Now, so the chewing and biting mouth parts, they show the presence of all these different parts. Okay. Now, this labium, which is also called as the lower lip, has a structure called labial palp. Okay. And the upper lip also has this sensory structures called sensory papillae or the sensory setae. Once again, functioning like the bristles of the antenna. The labial palp of the labium also shows the presence of bristles, once again helping in sensations. The next part of the body is the thorax, right? The thorax, which is divided into three parts, the prothoracic segment, the mesothoracic segment, and the metathoracic segment. When we study the thorax, we come to see that the thorax mainly shows the presence of legs externally, which are present on the ventral side, whereas the wings, which are present on the dorsal side of the body. Okay, so the three thoracic segments are prothoracic, mesothoracic, and the metathoracic segments. Okay, the legs are three pairs, माने प्रोथोरैक्सिक से दो legs, मीजो से दो, मेटा से दो. और ये जो legs है, they are made up of jointed appendages. अब ये jointed appendages के नाम हमारे एनसीईआरटी में नहीं है. ये जो एक्स्ट्रा पार्ट है जैसे कि coxa, trochanter, femur, then it is called tibia and there is tarsus. ये अलग-अलग jointed appendages होते हैं और ये jointed appendages की ही वजह से कॉकरोच को हम उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फाइलम दैट इज आर्थ्रोपोडा में इंक्लूड करते हैं. विंग्स, देयर आर पेयर ऑफ के दो होते हैं. द मेसोथोरैक्सिक विंग्स व्हिच आर कॉल्ड फोर विंग्स and the metathoracic wings which are called as hind wings. The mesothoracic wings are dark, opaque and leathery and they're only for protection. They are called tegmina. Okay. Whereas the metathoracic wings are membranous and thin, and they are flight wings. Cockroach rarely flies, and these flight wings are also known as elytra. Okay, the abdomen, which is the posterior most part of the body, right, is divided into 10 segments. Okay, now when we talk about the abdomen of Periplaneta americana, then there are certain differences between the abdomen of a male cockroach and the abdomen of a female cockroach. In the case of female cockroach, the abdomen is broader as compared to a male, where it is narrower. One thing common between both male as well as female cockroaches that on their 10th segment. This is the 10th segment. They show the presence of small outgrowths, which are called as the anal cerci. So both male and female cockroaches show the presence of anal cerci on their 10th abdominal segment. Some scientists say that probably it is used for detecting the ground vibrations. तो ये जो फीचर है एनल सर्काई, ये दोनों मेल और फीमेल में क्या है, कॉमन है. अब हम एक ऐसा पॉइंट करेंगे जिससे हमको कॉकरोच का सेक्सुअल डायमॉर्फिज्म समझ में आता है कि व्हाई कॉकरोच इज कॉल्ड सेक्सुअली डायमॉर्फिक. दैट इज बाय लुकिंग you can distinguish between a male and a female cockroach. So let us see that the cockroach has fallen upside down and I am able to see the ventral side of the cockroach. So it is fallen upside down. This is the 8th segment, the 9th segment, the 10th segment. These are the anal cerci. Now what I see is in one of the cockroaches from the 9th segment ventrally come out two long outgrowths. Okay. And these are called as the anal style. This is called as the anal style. Okay. And this anal style is the characteristic feature of the male cockroach, which helps us to distinguish from the female cockroach. Further, let us talk now more about the female cockroaches. As you recollect, the dorsal sclerites are called tergia, the ventral are called as sterna, and the lateral are called as pleurites. In the case of females, their seventh sternum is boat shaped. Along with the eighth and the ninth sternum, it results in the formation of a pouch, which is called as the brood pouch. The brood pouch, which is also called as the genital pouch. So information abhi learn hona chahiye that the seventh sternum is boat shaped. Along with the eighth and the ninth sternum, it results in the formation of a brood pouch or the genital pouch. Okay. Now, this particular brood pouch or the genital pouch, let us divide it into two regions. Okay. That is the anterior region and the posterior region. The posterior region will be called as the vestibulum, and the anterior region is called as the genital chamber. तो हमने उसको दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया. That is the genital chamber anteriorly, and posteriorly it shows the presence of the vestibulum. Okay, the anterior part जो होता है, anterior part जो होता है, जिसको अभी जैसे हम लोगों ने नाम दिया genital chamber, right? It shows the presence of an opening called as the female gonopore. Another opening which is called as the spermathecal pore, and it shows the presence of glands called collateral glands. So the opening called spermathecal pore, right? It helps to receive the sperms from the male cockroach. Then the female gonopore, it helps to release the ova, and the collateral glands help to produce a protective case called as the ootheca. Okay, that was about the female brood pouch or the female genital pouch of cockroach. Now, then it comes down to the male genital pouch, right? In the case of the males, let us see how do you describe the male genital pouch? Okay. In the case of the male genital pouch, the male genital pouch has is dorsally bounded by the ninth and the 10th tertian. So we have got the ninth and the 10th tertian. Okay. And ventrally, it has got the ninth sternum. Okay. So you have got the ninth and the 10th tertia, and you have the ninth sternum. Like this. And it shows the presence of a dorsal anus, the ventral male gonopore, okay, ventral male genital pore, male gonopore, जिसके थ्रू क्या sperms रिलीज होंगे, and it shows the presence of chitinous plates called phallomeres, or they are called as the male gonapophysis. Okay, so we have dorsal anus, ventral male gonopore, and phallomeres, or the male gonapophysis. So that is included in the external structure, external morphology of the male and the female cockroaches. One more point we'll add over here, and that is, as we had divided the body into three parts, as you remember, the three parts were the head, the thorax, which had the prothorax, the mesothorax, and the metathorax, and finally we had the abdomen. And the abdomen was divided into 10 segments: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now, on the meso and the metathoracic segments, there are a pair of openings. These pair of openings on the meso and the metathoracic segments are called as the spiracles. And the spiracles are the openings of the respiratory system. तो ऐसे दो pairs हो गए thoracic segment पे, and 8 pairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, मैंने एक ही साइड बनाया हुआ है, दूसरे साइड पे वैसा ही होगा. 8 pairs of spiracles are there on the abdominal segment. Okay, so totally you have got 10 pairs of spiracles, 2 pairs on the thoracic segment and 8 pairs on the abdominal segments. ये जो spiracles होते हैं, हम MCQs के ध्यान रखेंगे कि these are the openings of the respiratory system.